Good afternoon, everyone, from Dunrovin Ranch in Lolo, Montana. We're delighted to have Nicole, Chris, feeling well again in our Oggy. And we have our horse trainer, Brandon Carpenter, with us. Brandon, how are you?
Very good. How are you guys?
We're good. How about you, Nicole? How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you.
I can see that there's a little bit of wind out there.
Oh, yeah. Some weird weather today.
Yeah. Well, that'll just make it easy. Yeah, make it more fun, you know, a little bit of training, diversion for Oggy. That's always a good thing. Brandon, I know that you've had some excitement in your neck of the woods this last week. I heard that you were out on a couple of fires, and I wanted to ask you to give us a little thumbnail of your activities. I know people would be interested.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all. I think it started last Saturday evening. We had some dry lightning around, and I woke up about midnight, 12:30, just woke up, and I went around the house. I'm looking out on the horizon, and I didn't see anything, but as I don't know whether it's intuition or I heard some thunder or something that woke me up. I didn't realize. And the next morning they found a fire about 8 miles south of us. So I saw some smoke and called the dispatch, and they said, well, take anybody we can get. So I grabbed our pickup that's got the water tank on it and the pump and headed that way. And I just basically hauled water on that one. It was in really tough terrain, and they had a couple of helicopters and a big Chinook that Bentley's Flying Service has on it. A smaller one with a bucket and a couple of airplanes with retardant, and then some hand crews showed up. So I was just hauling water just to keep these hand crews going with their little pump trucks, and got off that one. And it's still going, by the way. They've got, some professional crews in there, and they're still working it. And then the next day we had a small one about 4 miles to the east of us, and that was out very quickly. Then the next day, right at the same place, just a few hundred yards away, it started. Another fire started, and I think it's from some combining equipment, and it burned up most of their wheat fields. But I was on that spraying for, I guess, about 3 hours before it got handled. And 100-degree heat, 10% humidity, and 20-plus mile-an-hour winds. So that one was taken off, and that great big Chinook helicopter was putting a bunch of water down. I think it's still the only privately owned one in the U.S. that Blaine's has there in Billings, and they were dumping water down, and I was just kind of at the mop-up stage and fighting about a 20-foot fire front with my pickup and me, and I saw another pickup up close, and I was kind of curious. I saw them taking pictures. I thought, why would they take pictures of me? And about that time, that Chinook come over the top of the ridge. I heard it, and they come right past me within about 30 feet and about 50 feet in the air, and they dumped a load. They put my little fire out for me. So... And I tell you, that dirty, nasty water they were pulling out of that stock reservoir felt really, really good. So we basically got that one put out and then headed back. So it's been busy. You kind of drop what you're doing and you go to help out if you can.
Absolutely, and I think that's just part of living in rural Montana, or even here in urban Montana. I had a friend who was killed in a avalanche, and interestingly enough, all kinds of backcountry skiers showed up with the poles. They not only had the equipment, but they knew how to do it. And I think that's what's really interesting about Montana is they have the equipment and the know-how, and they're willing to get up and just do it. Nobody has to ask.
That's exactly right. And I think if you're involved in some of those activities, snowmobiling or skiing or whatever, it's people are becoming more and more aware of the technology type side of rescue, and it's at the point where the individual can do it. So if you're running in pairs, and you really should be with that kind of stuff, your partner can help you out if they're able to. And it's amazing how many people are saved by people who are with pretty high technology, but really not. I mean, compared to 20 years ago, it's not, but then it was leading edge. But everything that happens, people are interested in, and they're willing to help. You're exactly right. They show up in droves. It's a good thing. Kind of talks a little bit about the good side of our humanity, right?
Exactly. And that's certainly one of them. Well, with that, I'm going to hand you off to Augie and Nicole, and thank you again for joining us and for your expertise. And with that, I'll let you two take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you. Hi, Nicole.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. I'm happy you are feeling a little better and things are looking up, but I understand it's also a little warm over there today too. Is that true?
Yeah, it's been in the hundreds all weekend. So, but today is looking a lot different. It's a little windy. I think Augie's feeling a little frisky today.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see how this goes.
A little bit of relief from the heat's a good thing. And again, we're not going to work very hard because of the heat, and I don't want to overdo you. You got to really be cognizant of overdoing it in the heat and a little bit of heat, exhaustion. You don't want to get to heat stroke, but it happens very, very quickly. And if you're trying to recover, let's just play with him lightly and show us what you've done.
Okay. All right, bud.
How's his attitude about listening to you? Is it improving still?
Oh, I'd say it's been getting a little better. I was working with him in the round pen the other day, kind of just doing what we did last week, and I got him to follow me, so
Good.
that was pretty exciting.
Good.
We ended the session right there. I was like, we're ending on a good note. This is as good as it's going to get for now. But
no, yeah. That's good. That's good. That's exactly what you should do then. That's good for you. How is he about moving away from you when you're close and in hand? Like they're at the rail. Does he try to resist you still quite a bit?
Yeah, I was trying that out a little earlier, and he's still resisting. He's not quite as bad as he was, our
good.
first time trying it, though.
Good. Excellent. Yep. Now, why is he doing that? Why is he pawing? Do you know?
A sassy little kid. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's a little bit of back talk, but it's mainly frustration that you are actually making him do something he doesn't want to do. Yeah, no, that's good because he's trying to distract himself and basically throw just a little bit of a temper tantrum without being too much of a tantrum. It's just displaying frustration. So that's a good sign when you're doing that. And immediately look how far you moved him over. He's calm. Everything's good. And it took minimal effort on your part. And I think you were doing that mainly with your right hand, right?
With my left.
Were you with that left? Okay. So you're up there close to his shoulder and rib about where your leg would be. And that's good. I mean, there's some other things you can do to kind of force him over, which is push him more in the flank, but you didn't even have to go there, on the far end of that lever. Yeah. So that's good. He's getting better. He will always challenge you just because he's spoiled, and control is control for him. So let's do one thing. Let's see if you can get him to step over one more step.
That was close, bud. Come on. Over. Come on. Wait.
There you go. Yeah, good. So what he's doing is he's starting to move back and forth, forward and backwards more to try to get away from not doing what you're asking. So you caught that and you stuck with him and you made him go over. Yeah, if you go one more step over, and he's just this is more this resistance. Good, and you're doing great. You're doing exactly what you should do. And I know this seems a little bit extreme, like we're really nitpicking, but these are some of the things that we want him to respond to us anytime we ask, no matter how little he needs to move. So very good. There we go. Nice. Very good.
Boy.
Now, just before he stepped, Did you catch what he did with that front foot?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Okay. You were kind of busy there, but what he did is he picked that foot up just like he was going to paw again. He picked it up and then set it down and then moved his hind end over. So, so he's frustrated, but he gave up before he could even, display his frustration. So that is exactly why I just had you do that. Again, this is low impact. Oh, look at him chew and lick. Good. Very good. Praise him for that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why a small little move there where we're totally and absolutely controlling him is what's important to make him do everything we want, no matter how small it is and how useless it is for him to do. It's important for him to respond and move as you want anyway. So, without question. So that's why we're doing some of these really small. Seems like, why in the world, what does it matter? Well, it matters because we're trying to retrain him into understanding that, look, we're not taking any garbage from you. So very good.
Right.
Good job. And, his behavior with that front foot, picking it up to be frustrated and then just like, yeah, okay, and then give it up. That's outstanding. Now, you'll notice when he turned towards you to really push into you, instead of turning and passing around, at first he was going further and further forward and backwards, trying to avoid you or avoid doing what you wanted, but he wasn't pushing into you. He was just trying to move away from you forward and backward. You stuck with him, and then when he did push you out of the way, you pushed him right back and put him in his place. Excellent job. Very good job. And you did it without having to really push on him. You were giving him a signal with that thumb. And usually you don't have to do this with horses very much because they respond to you, just your presence where you're at, because they respect where your place is in their herd and their hierarchy. And so being able to do that with most horses without that more assertive force is desirable. We want to get him there, but we have to do this with our thumbs a little bit more and put a little bit added pressure on there because you have to meet his resistance and then increase that assertiveness one step beyond what normally would do. So no, you did a great job. Good job. Tell me, was there anything about that was starting to get frustrating for you, or do you think that you're doing something wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I could be a little more assertive. I think I was being pretty gentle with him. Do you think I could do something more like localized or something with like my body besides pressing on him with my thumbs?
Yeah, you could kind of square yourself up, but you're already doing that, and that's very good. Okay. Intuition for you. What I would also do, if you can kind of move so that the mic is kind of downwind from your body, kind of there you go. Turn with your back right there. That helps. We're getting a lot of wind noise there. There we go. And this is going to be difficult when we're talking. Yeah, that's much better. But using your presence, your body presence, and then transferring that assertiveness of your thumbs into, hey, I'm just standing here, and that will lighten him up over a little bit of time. And he's already gotten lighter. He's not so much light because you're still poking on him quite a bit, but at least he's moving for you and doing what you want. And then having your body, when he resists you, what I would do is shift a little bit more towards his hind end, towards his tail, and hit him maybe up there on the point of the hip, but also in the ribs at the same time, and just put the pressure on those two pressure points so that you're really moving him around and making that whole hind end swing with a little more pressure instead of just in his center to begin with. Now, later on, then we want to move yourself back to the center of him and have him just move away from you with you just standing there and telling him to move. So what I'm saying is if you're struggling and he's not wanting to resist, or he's not wanting to assist you and be more resistant, then move to his side or to his hind end to push that over a little bit more that way. And that's going to help you just be a little bit more assertive. And then you can back off of that. But that would be the only two things. that I would see that you could do, and you're squaring up pretty well. It's just moving over and then just thinking to yourself as being a big bad bear, that hey, you are not pushing me around. So, all right, well let's go ahead and move him 180 degrees now, and see if we can get him to spin around without stopping at all, and put him absolutely parallel to that rail on the other side.
Over.
Excellent job.
There you go. Good boy.
Much better. Notice again how he's resisting, and trying to avoid. But hey, you're making him move, and that I think it was this side has been a little easier all the time, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
Yeah, he's always seemed to be a little bit more willing to work on his offside and more quiet about it and less resistant on this offside than he is on the near side or the left side. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was really good. And we'll give him a couple minutes, and we might just spend some time doing this back and forth because this is so good. We don't want to just hit it and then leave it. We could do that, but I think we want to really make sure that he is listening. It's almost like the same analogy you can make. I've seen so many people have trouble loading their horse when they're somewhere, and they're like, oh my God, I got to get this horse loaded so I can get out of here. And I can't tell you the number of times I've helped people. They'll finally say, hey, would you mind helping me? And so I will, and I'll show them the principles, what to do, and the horse will load. And man, they close the door quick and they're ready to go. And I go, and they're like, oh, thanks. And I said, well, we're not done yet. Let's take some time here to help you out for later. And then we'll unload that horse and load them back up a couple more times with me doing it. And then I'll have them do it. And they'll struggle because the horse is like, oh, I can't beat him, but I can still beat them because I've been doing it. And then pretty soon you've got that horse where they're loading up, where you're standing there and you're just throwing the rope over their back and they're walking up in there. That's time well taken as a repetitive thing to do. And because the next time that would happen is they would eventually go somewhere, unload their horse, go do what they're going to do, load them up or try, and the same thing would happen. And they're kind of winning by just resisting for as long as they can. So this is exactly the same thing. You spend that time really hitting this repetitively, and they're understanding that, like, look, this is going to be very consistent for you. You're going to have to do what I say. Yeah, I don't know, you don't like it, but hey, tough. And so the same thing with a lot of other tasks like that are important for them to do with little to no resistance on their part for you. So that's why we're going to spend some time with this and do this. And I know this seems like redundant, is just like why, but that is why. It's just driving that into that. You're trying to hardwire that into their mind that, like, okay, whatever I am faced with, I have to comply. Mm-hmm. Does that make any much sense to you? Have you seen that with people and their horses trying to trailer or load into a trailer? Some have trouble.
Yeah, so I had a horse once upon a time when I was a kid, and we really struggled to trailer her at first, and we kind of had someone come and teach us how to do that, and it was basically, like what you were saying. It was just like that repetition, not just doing like a one and done kind of thing, because they don't learn a lot from that. Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll learn a lot with emotional learning, a one and done, but most of the time with a horse, emotional learning is fear. And that when you learn with fear, that's not productive. Generally, that's the wrong direction you want to go. And yes, and you're teaching some principles about it along with it. And as I say, showing people what to do, how to do it, and you're right, some kind of step by step. This is how you do it, and it's all about focus and control. And giving them pressure and release when it's appropriate. And, we'll probably get into something like that later on with him. I think he actually loads pretty well, though. I don't think there's much of an issue. So, but we'll find out at some point. And we may do that soon. Yeah. We'll find out whether he loads or not. And that would be a great exercise for getting him to listen to you and do as you want if he hasn't been loaded much or he resists. So, again, all of those things are repetitive, but that's what training is. It's repetition. I had to train a yearling or 2-year-old filly here. She's been sold and she's going home to somebody, and she hasn't trainered that much. So it's like, okay, it's time to do some trader training. And one of the easiest horses I did, but I loaded her the very first time. I loaded and unloaded her over 20 times during that session. And so, yeah, and that was the first time. That the second day I went out, and you know what? It's like she had loaded for years, like she was a much older trained horse. And so I did the same thing. And I mean, I'm turning her around. I'm backing her out of the trailer, all the way out of the trailer, turning her around both directions so she learns how to move her body and she's comfortable in there. And then standing back, throwing the rope over her back and letting her load herself. All of those things by day 2. And so it was really a very short, So, and I did that only as a repetitiveness. I didn't need to, but I did it over 20 times again that day just to drive home all of the different things that she has to be able to do repetitively. And so I'm really confident that there's not much left to do with that. So, all right, let's do the same thing. Let's move him all the way over again and see if we can get him to not resist at all. Look at him already start to move. Did you see that shift in weight? That's awesome.
Over.
There you go. Good job. Keep going. Very good. You're doing great.
Over.
He just wants to hold out on that last little bit. Excellent. Good. Good job.
One more. Come on. Come on, Oggy.
That head comes up. Yeah, he's just trying to hold out and resist. He's at the end of his rope. Look at him looking. He's nibbling. Yeah, he's not happy, but if he'll just give up. Oh, he turned his hip into you there. He's resisting. A little frustration. Now he may move over. There he goes. Starting to.
Come on.
Good job. Keep going.
Need a half step more.
Exactly. It's always that last half step, isn't it?
Right.
Look at him look at you.
Come on.
All he's got to do is move.
Oh. Come on, bud.
Kind of put your right hand down near his gas and that stifle joint behind it. There you go. So you're moving that hock over a little. That helped. Good. Keep going. Keep going. Good job. You're doing great. I like that. I like that you increase the pressure on him with a little bit of a pop on his hind end. Very good. He's pushing you, so you got to push him back.
Come on, buddy.
He doesn't mind crushing you against those rails, but he doesn't want to be crushed against them, does he?
Right, yeah.
You're almost there. Just keep it up.
There you go. Good boy.
There. Now praise him.
I got a half step there.
That's fine. That's what you're after. You knew in your head what you wanted. You got it. That's good. Now, watch him if he starts to chew and lick, then reinforce that praise again. So go ahead and step back a step from him and let him stand there. And there you go. Take your hands off him. See if he may not drop his head, but he may start to lick and chew a little bit again. We'll give him a minute because we really need this mental processing to take place. And hurrying past that, and they never really get a chance to think about and process what's happened to them, so that's like, oh, okay, yeah, I get what she wanted. I didn't like it, but she made me do it.
Mm-hmm. No, you're fine.
So when you're doing
He looks pretty relaxed. We probably won't get that response out of him, but I like what you did as he pushed into you, because that's more assertive on his part. You got even more assertive, and you slapped him with a light pat on his hind end. That's perfect. That was increasing the pressure and doing something a little bit different and more energy into it from you to push him back. That was outstanding. That's very good. And I know some of that gets frustrating for you too. So you want to. Sometimes you like to just really slap them, wouldn't you? But yeah. I mean, they're so big and they're so frustrating. But no, you did exactly the right thing. And look, he's standing there with a loose lead, and which is really good. I like this because last time we tied him pretty short so that he wouldn't move forward and backwards on you, and now he's doing less of that this time. And I think he's starting to give more and more. So I can't ask for anything better than that, Nicole. You're doing great. So let's go ahead and move him.
Oh, thank
move him
you.
100. Yeah, no, you're doing good. And if you have any question, ask me. Don't be shy.
All right, move him again.
Let's do it.
Buddy.
And when I say let's, that means you. Now, try to keep him moving all in one motion. Don't let him stop. Very good.
Yep.
Keep going.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
There you go.
Good. Very good. Very good.
Good boy.
Now our whole
Good job.
We're really getting very, and again, when we say we, I mean you, because you're doing the work. But notice how we're not fighting quite as hard, and we expect it to be easier on this side because that's just the way he's wired. To get him to move parallel, it's getting easier and easier all the time. And so then what we're going to work on as we do this is to try to keep him moving completely without stopping all the way over and all the way back without and I don't mean that in one session. I mean, as one task. I mean, the next time we move him, we just change 180 degree position, but we do that as he just continually just walks himself right over with you nudging him and stands without stopping, resisting, without anything in the way of any kind of even seeming like it's resistance, that he just moves perfectly and flowingly over on that side. And when he does that, then we're really starting to solidify more and more what we're doing. And this is very, very tough on a horse that you can't discipline very well or much without, putting a lot of strain on that right hind leg or that offside hind leg, so that we don't do more damage. And this is tough. It's not easy, but we're going to have more repetitive stuff and set him up in some ways that we don't necessarily seem like it's going to be very beneficial because it is so repetitive and like watching paint dry. It looks to me like he's taking a little weight off of that foot. Has he worked this week a little harder than normal or feeling good? Did he run around a lot with cooler weather?
Maybe. I've kept our sessions pretty short, like 15 minutes.
Good.
The horses are in the riparian right now, so there's a lot of space to run around. So maybe he was going hard out there. No. Right.
Well, and he may be at the point where, he's working up to a pain threshold, perhaps at different times, and maybe pushing himself a little bit when he's out there. And they will when it feels good. Everything wants to run and buck and play and kick a little bit because it feels good. So I'm just wondering about that because I know you were keeping this session short, and we're certainly not overworking him, but it looked to me like he's not putting weight on there quite like he was earlier. He's shifting his weight, and he'll put it down, and he'll take the weight off again. So I'm just an observation that may or may not be accurate on my part, but that's just kind of what I was seeing there. So, all right, I like what he's doing. Let's go ahead and move him back or over again. And these mats are not an issue. Don't worry about them. He can pick those feet up and step over them. Oh, I like it.
One more step.
Better.
Come on. One more.
Good catch. Very good catch.
Over. Come on. Quit. Oh, buddy. Come on. Come here. Hey, come on. Over. Oggy, come on. Oh, you just untied yourself, bud.
Yeah, I did. Nicole, you are doing so many things right, and I want we won't get into them yet, but you are doing so many things right.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, you might want to shorten that rope up.
Yeah.
But we'll try to get him like there. We go. Oh,
there you go. Good.
There we go. You got it. All right. Great job. Very good job. You were, and I was saying you did so many things right there. What you're actually doing is when you need to respond to him, I see you watching him think, and when he's thinking and he's thinking about moving, you're responding and you're moving to the left when he wants to move forward and away from you, or try to get past you, and you are catching that and stopping that and pushing him back. That's outstanding work. Outstanding. So the only time that he started, what was it, twice I think, that he moved over and pushed you, or three times, is that he's got slightly ahead of you, and that was it. But the rest of the time, there were way more times that you caught him and stopped him and made him back up. And you were doing it all, I can tell you're doing it by feel. You're watching him, and you're watching how he's going to move while he's thinking about it, and you're catching it ahead of time. So fantastic. Good job. You're reading your horse. That's outstanding. And you'll notice when he turned perpendicular to the rail and you're still on him, he was trying to back up away from that. That was his resistance. It wasn't pushing into you. It was trying to get back. And that's when his lead come undone. But yeah, he's still trying everything he can to resist. I like this. And you're correcting him verbally when he did that as well. And he stopped. So you're making headway on him. I mean, you're doing a lot of things right. And I know it probably doesn't feel like it, but you are. You're doing a lot of good stuff.
Thanks. Oh, good boy.
There you go. Yeah, now he's putting weight on that leg more consistently. So. Let's do the same thing. Let's move him to the other side now and see if we can get he'll be obviously much easier, but we'll see if we can get him to completely move all the way around without stopping.
Over. Good boy.
Very good. Very good. He resisted once.
Oh, he's licking his lips.
Yeah. Did you notice the body language he was giving you just as he was stopping, when he was trying to resist partway through?
Was he trying to back up a little bit? I can't.
Yeah, not so much back up, but he was giving you a couple of tail swishes. He was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, unhappy. I was like, no, don't want to do this. So you continue to push right on through it. Good job. Now he's going to get to a point here where he's going to say, you know what, I'm losing this battle. I got to try a little harder, and he will. I hope not, but there's a very high probability that he will do that, especially on the other side. Very good. Very good. We're liking this. How you feeling? How's the heat?
It's not too bad.
Okay, because I was kind of planning, knowing that you had been ailing a little bit earlier, and as hot as it's been over there for you guys, we're kind of used to the 100-degree heat. You guys aren't used to the heat and wind like we are, and it's even tough like on us. So I was planning on not going quite as long as we need as we have been because of that. I don't want to fatigue you. I don't want to fatigue him and then get to a spot where we've overdone it and now you can't quit him and spiral down into a bad place. So we'll do this a couple more times and then maybe cut it a little bit short, but we'll continue on with this, and then we'll go in some, just some in-hand stuff if you're feeling like it.
Okay.
All right. Let's move him around. Move him again. He's anticipating. Look at that.
Come on. One more. Come on.
Oh, he does not like that.
Good boy.
There. All he's got to do is comply.
Job.
Now, is he chewing? Excellent. I see him licking. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. He's blinking a little bit. I can see that. Very good. A deep, methodical thinking blinking. Well, let's do one thing. Let's shorten that lead up even a little bit more so that he has to pivot there at his head. Yeah. And don't give him the option of backing up. That way he's not even trying that. And we're not shortening by a lot. I mean, he can still move his head. It isn't like we're walking away from him. He's in a training session here. But that was way better than I thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
And he was anticipating that as you walked around his hip to turn him. He was already thinking about where he was going to have to go. That's good. All right. Whenever you feel like it, let's move him again.
Good boy.
Good boy. Good job. His resistance was there a little bit, but it was more about thinking about it and just kind of hesitating instead of stopping. So excellent. Very good. And he is such a little pusshead about this. It's just, everything has to be his way, or so he thinks. So I gave you homework last week. Did you get to it? Or did you forget about it? Something you can do at home.
I probably forgot about it. I'm so sorry.
Well, no, this is good. It's not important. It's just, to me, it was a good movie. I don't know if you'd think it is either, but that one scene called the Presidio.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I thought in the name of the other actor was Mark Harmon. Mark Harmon and Sean Connery.
Okay.
So, yeah, you might even just be able to look up that cheat a little bit and look up the Cliff Notes on YouTube with that scene. I don't know. All right. Oh, look at that. Standing still, shifting weight. I'm good with that. I like that. Ears are very calm. Head's kind of come down a little bit. He's relaxed. Now let's make him move again. Let's do this, Nicole. Let's get him all the way over and then immediately go around his hip and make him move all the way back. Tail flip. There we go.
Come on. There you go. Oh. Come on, over.
Good.
Come on. Come on. There you go.
There we go.
Good boy.
And that's where he's going to start resisting now. It looks to me like that's some of that fighting you. And you're, yeah, there you go. There's doing it some more. So only use as much, try to lighten up your thumbs a little bit and just ask him to move. And if he pushes into you, then go, there you go. So don't overuse your thumbs, because then he will push into it because he's into pressure animal, but only if you really need it. But the whole idea is now as we move that we get lighter and lighter on the touch to the point where we don't have to touch him at all. Just we're walking into him, we'll do it. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right, let's do that one more time. Let's try to see if we can get everything moved all the way over and then all the way back. And try it with lighter touch. Better? Oh, look at that.
Good boy. There you go. Good boy. Good boy,
Much better. Much better. Okay. And I was watching that, and the reason that's why I asked you to kind of back that off a little bit, because I think he was pushing into you because we were causing the resistance that time. So very good.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Let's take if you're ready and feel like it, let's just do a little bit of walking around and those stops, turns, and getting him to move back and back away from you at a little bit higher walk or a faster walk. And if we can do that for just about 4 or 5 minutes, then we're going to call that a day. We're going to shorten this up a little bit because he's actually doing pretty well there.
Yeah. Like a boy.
And we'll need to move the camera. The camera's not moving too much, so we'll have to have you kind of stay in that close to that rail.
Okay. Yeah, bud. Boy, Oggy. Am I on camera?
Nope. No, you're going to have to go back in front of the rail.
Oh. Okay.
There we got. Now we got the camera moving somehow. Okay, now you're just to the right of it. There, now it's coming to you. Okay, now we got you in. Okay, so yeah, just pull it. Just go straight forward and backward at that point. Oh, that's better.
Okay.
And you're not having to do much except just standing his way. There you go. Now stop and back up quick and go all the way back to the rail, all the way back to the corral fence. And try to do the minimum correction as possible, but still have him comply. Very good. Much better. Much better. I like how he's moving that leg, and it's stretching that leg out, that direction, in the reverse. Good job. That's much better, I think. A little bump release. And stop and back up. Good. Yeah, getting him to back up straight. That's good. Very good. Good job. Nicole, I'm liking that. That's much, much better. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he's a lot lighter in your hand, especially backing up.
Good boy.
Good. Oh, his head is right where it should be. Very good. I like it. I like it a lot. Look at him watch you and step.
Boy.
You kind of step to the side a little bit, and he kind of half passed backwards to not touch you. So we're gaining on your respect. That's very good. Very good. Now let's go ahead and put him in the front there, and let's turn him on his fours. Let's just do basically what you were doing at the rail, only just keep going in a circle and try to make him pivot on those front feet. So we're turning on the fours and just make him work that hind end all the way around. He should do this pretty well. Okay, don't let him walk forward. See how he's walking forward around you?
Yeah.
There you go. There we go. Now you can. That's better. There we go. We'll exercise that leg out there a little bit. Very good. That's better. Better. Much better.
Good boy.
Good. Now let's do the other side.
Good boy.
Praise him. Good.
Good job.
And now let's go the other side. Do exactly the same thing. Try to make sure those front feet pivot instead of walk. That's better. That's better.
Good boy.
Try to stretch your arm out. Yeah, you're kind of stretched there. That's better. Kind of be able to move your body back along his body line a little bit better. And so he's moving off of your body presence. And see if you can pull your hand back away from the halter a little bit. Give him a little slack, but make him tug on him a time or two if you need to, so that you kind of get behind his shoulder if you can. That's there. Good tug. Very good. That's good correction. Now, the only thing I would do is turn your body so that your chest is parallel with his body. And kind of walk him around, kind of at his side. And turn to the right. Turn to the right a little bit more. There you go. Now walk into him. Now just walk straight into him. There you go. Much better. Much better. Feel the difference in control there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're pushing him with just your body. Excellent. Excellent job. And probably give him a stop there anytime. There, good job. Yes. I'm liking that. Now let's go ahead and let's turn him on his hinds, but let's do it on this side and push him away from you, so that, and you're gonna have to move a little bit faster because the pivot point on his feet are close to his center on the fronts. The pivot point on his hinds are right at his hind end. So you're going to be walking in a bigger circle in order to make him move. So you might have to get kind of in front of his shoulder a little bit and push him over. So let's turn him on his, go ahead and turn him on his hinds. Just walk into his shoulder. There you go. Now you're starting moving. That's better. Keep going. All the way around. Very good. Better. And this is also going to exercise that hind leg a little bit. Keep going. Keep going. He's crossing those. Yeah. And he started to cross those front legs a little that time. That's better. Keep going. Keep going. Kind of a fine line between going forward and going backwards, but he needs to cross those legs as he moves over like that. Yes. Good job. Keep going. Reach up and put a hand on his neck, just like you're doing on his shoulder. 2 places.
Come on.
Okay, don't push on him, but touch him. Touch him and back off. So otherwise he'll push on you. There you go. Keep going. Just pop him. Just tap him. Tap him on the neck. There you go. Good. Yes. Tap, tap, tap. Move him around. Walk right up to him. Walk to him. Make him walk away from you. Yes. That's better. A little more. Keep going around about another 180 degrees, and we'll quit him on that side. Keep going. Keep going. And this is a matter of him just not wanting to do it. It's a little harder work. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Let's get about 2 more steps out of him. Keep going. There we go. Right there. Good job. Now let's go. Now let's do a couple of turns from the other side. And hopefully this will be better. It'll turn to this. But notice the level of resistance again on something so small, something so different. It's just a matter of him not wanting to do it. because it's a little more effort. And this might torque his hind a little bit more, but I doubt it. So reach up there and pop him on that neck and make him move. Make him move away from you. Don't let him go forward. That's where we're going. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Good job. Good job. Yeah, get in front of that shoulder. Oh, there. Now you're pushing the front end around. See how he's just kind of swapping ends? One time the hind, one time the forward, front.
Yeah.
One more time. Keep going. Yeah. It's a matter of him maybe backing him up a little bit because he'll swap when he walks forward. We're letting him go just a little bit too much forward motion. Or backwards the same way. That's better. That's a little better. Get a couple more steps out of him. That's better. Yes. Yes. Yeah, now you're doing it. Look at that. I wish you could see the cross from up here in the camera. Holy mackerel, that was a good one. Very good. No, Cole, you did fantastic. I would call it good right there. Right there. And we're gonna cut this a little bit short, but I think it's well deserved. It's hot out, I know, but he's also complying pretty well. So we want to build on that, where he's not going to start resisting you harder than what he is. He's resisting, but he's still giving to you. It's just a matter of fine tuning that he doesn't go forward or backwards in a little bit of avoidance. But I think that was very good. Good job on your part, and you're starting to read him much, much better than you have in the past session. So when you can read that horse and see what they're thinking about doing, you can correct them before they actually do it. And that in itself is mental control. And that's all we have with these guys. We could never control them if we really wanted to, if they only knew that.
Right.
So absolutely good. Very good job. I'm proud of you. You did everything you needed to do and more.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So our homework for next week is to do what?
Watch that movie.
The Presidio. Yes, the Presidio.
Okay.
No, it's just a fun little thing I always think of. You don't really actually have to watch that. I'm just kidding you. Good movie though.
I probably will, just for funsies.
Oh yeah, well, who can beat Sean Connery? You know?
Right.
Oh shoot. All right. Well, let's call it a day. You did fantastic. Just keep up the exercises, doing what you're doing, so we can keep him moving and loosened up. It looks to me like we haven't done anything bad to him, and he was just packing that a little bit. So, and maybe I'm just reading something there that isn't there with a little exercise and him being turned out. But we want to be cautious with him, so that's good. So, I'm going to sign off, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Bye.
All right. Bye.